Hello, 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 hello. Wherever you are on this laughable planet called Earth, I hope you are having a beautiful day, even night wherever you're located. Today, on my Blender channel, I'm going to cover the new kid on the block. I'm going to be talking about geometry nodes. Yes, geometry nodes. Now, like you did, people, I watched videos. I even got some courses from various websites on geometry nodes. I never used them much, but I have content about them and I've watched them. But this is the thing that gets me. Nobody ever gone to detail to explain what they are. Yes, they do say they modifiers. But after that, they just go on and make something incredible. They just go to make something incredible. They don't go into detail of how they are modifiers, why they are modifiers. And that's my topic for today. To go into detail about geometry nodes. I'm not making nothing fancy. I'm going to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Just to let you know that why people in a flat 5 seconds say the geometry nodes. So let's go to the new tab up here, the new kid on the block, geometry nodes. Now, we all have been on geometry nodes and watched the videos, like I said. No one ever explained not one thing to me. Some have. Thanks to our course I got on Canopy, Canopy, They have an excellent course on using geometry nodes. They explained to me what these numbers, too bad I can't write up here, in the upper left-hand corner where my mouse is. So I'm going to start right there. Those things are basically, I'm only going to keep it simple. Where it say mesh at. Vertex, edges, face corners. I'm not going to worry about that. And you're going to go with the curves and point cloud, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to stay with the first three that we all know about. Even if you're beginning, you know about a vertex, edge, and a face. So I'm going to go there. But to use vertex, edge, and a face, that means we have to be in the editor mode. So go to editor mode. And we're not even dealing with no geometry. I'm going to deal with the first one. Now, before I even deal with the first one, let me click on my little point that I want right here. The first column is X, as you all know. It represents a 3D space. First column X, where my mouse at. First column X. Second column Y. Third column Z. Nope. Them YouTube videos don't explain that. That's what I meant. Now, so now we know that this window is basically the coordinates window. Then we all know about the viewport, and we all know about the shader editor. So now you have an idea what all three of the windows are. I have a point selected right here. I'm just going to move it on my on my Y-axis. And why some numbers over there move? It don't matter which ones. You see? I'm moving. Oh, and those points, if I go on, and all these points represent at least, it's eight edges. Let me get this. Here's edge 1. Here's edge 2. Vertices 3. Vertices 4. I'm at the bottom. Vertices 5. 6. 7. And on this other side in here is 8. So, all of those so these numbers over here from 0 to 9, they are really 8 digits. They correspond to each of those vertices. Whenever they don't go that far on YouTube. They just start making stuff. Alright, so we clear about that. Now, I'm going to grab this vertices here, and it'll let me know which number it is when I move it. I'm just going to grab it on, what did I say, Y? I grab it on Y. So that's vertex number 2. Let me click another one. Let me hit Control Z to put it back. This one. This is number 0. So you have to figure out which one is which. This is number see, that's number 6. And on and on and on. So we understand that. Now I went to edges earlier, Now, there are about 12 edges on here. I'm not going to count them. But middle of the forest is 4. 4 on the sides, 4 there. So, according to this, it's about 12. 12 edges. Now, the edges, like I said, I'm not a pro with geometry nodes. It didn't show nothing. But I know why it's not showing them too. Because to show something, it would have to be in 3D space. So these edges right here is not moving in 3D space. I don't know why that's got one set of number there. Let me move it on different axes to see if it changed. I'm moving on X, moving on Y. See, it's not moving. I'm gonna move it on Z. No change. Because I don't know why. We can read it, but let's say crease right here. But each of these edges is a crease, but it's still not showing nothing. But if the crease was moving, it would have to move in 3D space. So you can investigate that. Why does it have crease? Let's have one set of number there. Face, it has 3 sets of numbers. See, so that should work. So you got the X, the first one, Y second one, and Z is third. So let me click on the face. Let me select face, my face, and which number. I'm gonna move it on X because that'll let us know which face it is. I'm gonna put it on X, and you see, number 1 is changing slowly. I'm gonna click another face right here. I'm gonna move it on Z. Okay, and that's moving a number of points. Because a face is more of a surface. It's not an edge. It's not a vertex. So it's moving a lot of different numbers. So it's moving in some type of so the face is more complicated than the other ones. All right. So now at least you have a basic understanding on this. I'll call it the location window. I don't know the exact name, but you can look it up. But at least you know what the window is for. All right. And we haven't even gotten into really geometry material yet. Now, the geometry. Let me click on new. Let me do that again. Let me click on another tab and see what happened if I click on new. Alright, so nothing happened. Geometry nodes has begun. It always have, but you see many videos, group input, group output. If you probably heard before, geometry nodes needs the modifier. And oh good, see it got something. Okay, let me erase this and see what happened. Yes. So as soon as I hit new, it gave it a modifier. But before I get more into that, I want to go right back to I took it off of new, so now my cube is just a cube. Just a cube. Now, I'm going to go back to layout, and since it's just a modifier, we can choose a modifier. I want to choose Decimate. There's Decimate. Let me see if it did, because I didn't subdivide it. So, probably won't do much, see? I didn't subdivide it, so it's not going to do much. Here's my fact right here. I didn't choose a vertex group either. Let me choose symmetry. X, all of these. I may choose another one. Remember, I didn't give it no, I didn't just subdivide it, so let's choose another one. Oh, a good one is the array modifier. Let's choose array. Because that works straight out the box. There it is. I'm going to increase my array count. There's my array count. Oh. My array count. They're like that. Then I'm going to go down to offset. And there's an offset. I ain't going to do no more with it. Now, as you know about modifiers, modifiers are, quote, non-destructive. See? My original shape, my original object has not changed. It's still there. So it's non-destructive. And what I mean by non-destructive, if I cancel a modifier, back. I'm right to my original one. So remember that. Modifiers are non-destructive. Now we can go back into the geometry nodes. Now I can hit new. Now we're going to see some things about this. Remember, it's already set up for geometry node. It's non-destructive. And I want to bring in I want to add something simple that's to change it. Like I did with the modifier. I made a slight change. I want to go up here to geometry, merge by distance. Choose that. And I'm not going to subdivide it, not yet, because I got more to say about it. See that? All right. But remember, it's non-destructive. So even if I disconnect it, like that, even if I disconnect it, up here it's still called a cube. If I click on this X, remember, it's non-destructive. The cube still should be there because it got the name up here, cube. If I click on this X, zap. That's like what I did for that modifier. The array modifier. I clicked on the X and snap. It took me right back to my original shape. So we see now, geometry nodes is just a fancy name for, you can say it deal with modifiers. We just now seeing. I made a slight change to it. And it was not impacted any. I clicked X. So even if I disconnect it, the name up here is still cube. If I hit X to say I don't want this no more, I can hit X here or here. I don't want it no more. Zap, my cube back. So no one ever said that to us. It has the behavior of the modifiers. So now let's get more into it. All right. Just like most modifiers, like when I use let me check some other modifiers. Just like when I use displace and many others, it's always best to subdivide it first. So let me go to edit mode now. And let me give it some subdivision. I'm going to right click, subdivide. I give it about, I like to say 30 subdivisions. And so it looks real dense. It has 30 subdivisions. Now, I want to choose add again. I want to go up here to mesh. I want to choose, I want to choose geometry. Sorry about that. Geometry. I want to choose merge by distance. I'm just doing something simple. Drop it in here. And we're going to see that it has the behavior of one of those modifiers. And you probably recognize the modifier that it is in its simplest form. Let me do this. Let me just work with it. Oh, but see, like with most modifiers, now I'm in edit mode. Even though I'm changing it, it's still got that cube shape because it's still called cube up here. I mean, it's still the cube. I have not applied the modifier yet. I have not applied it. And if I apply, let me see if I say it. No, see, just like other modifiers, I cannot apply this quote geometry node in edit mode. I have to be in object mode. Let's go see the list now. See, to apply it, it's like all other modifiers. I have to be in object mode. Now, let me manipulate this little thing that I was doing. See, I'm back. If you recognize that, that looks like decimate. You see that? The decimate modifier. Remember, the decimate modifier needs geometry. So, in this simple case, it needed subdivisions. And in this simple case, I gave it subdivisions. When it's 0, it's back to that cube. Let me do this. I'm just playing around. I'm decimated. Now, if I want to apply it, well, let me go back to edit mode. See, it's still in that cube. It's still in that cube. I'll go back to object mode. Now, if I apply it, just like any modifier, it should be applied to that. Zap, it's locked. And now we see down here, all the geometry information is gone. All of it. Like a normal modifier. Let's go back up here. Let's go to edit mode. And we see, just like when we applied the modifiers before the geometry node, it has taken effect in the edit mode. See? So remember, geometry nodes is just modifiers. But here's the catch. Is you the artist with geometry node, you can make modifiers that don't exist in Blender. So they're giving you extreme power. And the thing I like about it, so many people use the geometry nodes like particles. So they may get rid of particles one day, maybe 10 years, 15 years. But they may keep it because particles got so many other features like void particles, etc. They got so many different, like I said, void particles and other things. So they probably won't get rid of particles. And that's a good thing for beginners to use because, they use this geometry node, them shaders. I don't think a lot of Blender users use the shaders a lot. And this geometry node uses shaders. So we see right there, it has taken effect. And you see, it's gone. If I delete, I can't delete it because I applied that modifier. So let me hit Control Z a couple of times to get back to what I had. Now there's the modifier. Now here are the nodes for the geometry. Everything is back. I can manipulate it like I did before. That's like the decimate node. If I go back to edit mode, it got that cube shape. And I go back to object mode. You see, it's not applied yet. If, like I said, you remember, in this edit mode, this is that thing about the edit mode. It's showing you that the geometry node, while I got this wireframe, it's showing you that it has not taken effect yet. It's showing you in edit mode that the cube has not been destroyed. Because we see all my subdivisions there. The cube has not been destroyed. Remember, modifiers before you apply them does not destroy your mesh. In geometry node, it's a modifier. Geometry node is a modifier. It has not destroyed my mesh. I go back to object mode now. I want to get back my original cube. Because remember, I have not applied this. There's the apply highlighted. Now, like I can rewrite. I can either delete my geometry node from here in the shader, or like the traditional modifiers, I can hit this X. And I'm back to my cube. Thank you for stopping by, my good people. I hope I gave you deep insight into what geometry nodes are. All of y'all are modifiers that you can become an artist with. Like the modifiers in this list: data transfer, mesh, array, bevel, armature, cast, cloth, collision. They are stagnant modifiers. They're rigid. They won't change. But when you go to geometry nodes and you make your own modifiers, then it's extremely flexible. So, in conclusion, the geometry nodes are just modifiers. The biggest thing is you become the artist. You become the creators. You are extending Blender's normal array modifiers. Thank you for stopping by, good people. Like I said to the new people on the Blender block, keep pushing, keep growing, keep swimming every day. Don't give up. I was looking at my dog outside. I have an Airedale Terrier. I like to look at the little Airedale Terrier puppy pictures when he's just a couple weeks old. Not just humans. All living animals don't give up. When my dog was a puppy, and other Airedales nuzzling their puppy, they do everything they can to get to that mother's nipple. They fight, they scream, they cry, but they're going to get to that nipple because they're pushing forward. So you push forward, new user, new Blender user, new 3D user, whatever application you are, push forward. So the next time Blender family, 3D family, peace.